Free agency will start on the 21st of January 2023, and the questions to be answered are starting to become more clear, like who's retiring? No one. How will BG's return impact the WNBA? And any hints where the biggest free agents this offseason will go? And who are the underrated free agents who could impact the free agent market? First, the players considering retiring, that being Candace Parker and Diana Taurasi, have both announced that they plan to return to the WNBA in the 2023 season. Taurasi has made it clear that she is training, and if she is training, then she intends to return. It is assumed that she'll return to the Mercury. Never say never, but it's hard to envision her leaving. So the big question is, with DT, how much will it cost the Mercury? I just don't see DT returning for the Sue Bird into career discount and playing on the minimum. Do you? The salary she gets is a big deal, as the other big news is that BG is now free and seems intent on staying in Phoenix. She's actually a free agent, so she could walk and go anywhere she wants. However, BG has made it clear she wants to stay in Phoenix, as she issued the following statement: "I intend to play basketball for the WNBA's Phoenix Mercury this season, and in doing so, I look forward to being able to say thank you to those who have advocated, wrote, and posted for me, in person, soon." So if BG comes back to the Mercury, you would figure she would be on a max contract. The other big part of the Mercury puzzle is Skylar Diggins-Smith, who is on a max contract for the 2023 season. She clearly had issues with DT and coach Vanessa Nygaard last season. She announced her pregnancy just after the season finished, so it's unclear if she will play in 2023. Even if she sits out, the Mercury are on the hook for her full salary. As well, they will take the full salary cap hit for her salary, even if she does not play. Essentially dead money on the cap. So if Phoenix pays the big three near max money, it will leave little left over, say if they wanted to bring back Kia Nurse, as she has recovered from her ACL knee injury and looked pretty good in the World Championships. As well, it might limit their ability to match any offers made to Sophie Cunningham, who is a restricted free agent and will go around the league shopping for the highest offer. It will be interesting to see if DT and BG get together and take less to help Phoenix build out their roster. If they don't, and they both take max salaries, then Phoenix will have no depth. The other major question is if Griner will be able to broker peace between Diggins-Smith and the Mercury, namely Diana Taurasi and Nygaard. Like Taurasi, Candace Parker has also announced that she's coming back. You would think she would return to hometown Chicago, but nothing is guaranteed. The only player locked in for the Sky is Kahleah Copper. Will coach and GM James Wade be able to convince everyone to run it back again, like he did in the previous WNBA season, and put together arguably the best WNBA roster that missed out on their championship because of 5 minutes of madness in the fourth quarter of Game 5 in the semifinals when Copper got into it with Bonner? The three players besides CP that influenced Chicago's hopes are Emma Miesemann, who might not play in 23 as she's previously skipped WNBA seasons to focus on playing in Europe and for the Belgium national team at the European Cup. The other two pieces are Allie Quigley and Courtney Vandersloot, who will likely be a 2-for-1 special. If you sign one, then you're likely to get the other, as they are married. However, Quigley has hinted at retirement. Will Vandersloot push for a return to Washington State, where she grew up and want to sign with the Storm? And could Quigley fill the void left by Sue Bird? I think it's more likely that they run it back again with the Sky. But this is YouTube, so I'll probably look like an idiot in about a month's time. But if the Sky do wind up breaking up and making me look like an idiot, well, it's fun to think about the location where Parker might go. Could Atlanta be a destination, as it might make her TV gig easier with TNT, and she would have a chance to team up with Ryan Howard? Or the bright lights of New York an option if they miss out on getting Stewie? Or could the prodigal daughter return home to the LA Sparks? The Sparks will have cap space, which will allow Curt Miller to build and mold a team if he actually is making the calls. See my other video on that. As well, this would allow Parker to show Curt Miller how to hang something other than a conference banner. As you know, CP only hangs championships. Unlikely, yes, but never say never, as CP's daughter lives in LA and the Sparks would offer a great stage for her to end her career on. As well, nothing says bygones be bygones than giving a player a fat contract. The Sparks will be interesting. Do they do a full teardown and rebuild? And if they do this, then how does this affect Nneka Ogwumike? Do you see her sticking around for the full LA rebuild under Curt Miller? Now, the other big free agent still swimming is Stewie. The biggest news is that she didn't get hurt as she got through the World Cup injury-free. Does she double down and continue her career in the Great Northwest and hope the Storm can build around her with Izzy Magnabor and Jewell Loyd? Or does she want to return to the bright lights of New York and return to the Northeast? This has to be tempting, as she would be on an immediate championship contention team, which would potentially set up a showdown between the Liberty and Aces. Another interesting aspect would be to see how she plays free agency, as she is the biggest WNBA free agent, and she's clearly annoyed at the WNBA over the prioritization rule. Will she slow play her decision as the biggest free agent, letting the WNBA twist on the idea that she might sit out and stay in Spain with her wife and young daughter, versus playing in the WNBA where she only makes half of the money, if that? Now, those are the upper tier free agents, if you like, but there are other players and teams who have free agent decisions to make. I think the most interesting is Dallas, for instance. Now, they brought in a new coach, Trammell, from the Sparks. In Dallas, it's always the coach's fault. Never the GM or players or presidents. It's always the coach. The coach is always replaced. But anyway, can Trammell, who's a defensive guru, can she get Arike Ogunbowale in the wings to play defense? That'll be interesting. Their choices in free agency will impact this. It would seem likely that unrestricted free agent Isabella Harrison would be leaving Dallas, as she had a bit of a temper tantrum midseason about losing playing time to Tiara McCowan, as she made a point of calling out her passive-aggressively calling out former coach Vicki Johnson on social media. The Wings made a good run at the end of the season to make the playoffs, which was due in large part to McCowan getting more playing time and Mabry flourishing in the absence of Arike Ogunbowale. However, it's notable that Dallas in the playoffs got blown out in the first game by the Sun, and the second game adjustment was to take McCowan out of the starting lineup and put Harrison in there to get more defense. This resulted in Dallas getting their first ever playoff win. In Game 3, Dallas was also leading in the second quarter, and then Harrison went out with an ankle injury. In the second half, the Sun were just too much, as Harrison didn't come back in the game, and the Sun cruised to an easy victory in the second half. McCowan and Mabry are both unrestricted free agents. Dallas roughly has $363K in cap space. Who are they going to bring back? I suspect they'll let Harrison go, but is McCowan the player that you want to try to build? Or if you're wanting to improve your defense, is that a player you want back? As well, will Dallas match if some crazy offer comes from Mabry? As she put up good numbers while Ogunbowale was away, a $200K offer if that's put in for Mabry, like some crazy stupid money comes her way. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see if Trammell can get a team with Ogunbowale, Mabry, and McCowan to play defense, if that's the direction they wind up going. I just don't know if that's really possible. And ultimately, if it doesn't happen, we know it's going to happen. It'll probably be Trammell that goes, because they don't seem to, definitely don't seem to want to get rid of the GM. See my video on that if you're interested. The last thing that I'm interested to see is what the Minnesota Lynx do. I think they might be a player in free agency. They seem intent on sort of getting back into the game. Napheesa Collier's back. They need to replace Fowles. They've got the number 2 picks. They've got the ability to make moves. I'm just curious to see what they do. Could they sign Brianna Jones potentially? Or could they sign Nneka Ogwumike from left field? I don't know, but I'm curious to see what they do. Anyway, we'll be covering free agency. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. See you next time.